AULA. AULA? AULA? Awuga? No, I'm not trying to swear or speak in a different language, but rather that's a brand that probably a lot of you already know of. They make plenty of price-conscious products, mainly keyboards based on what I know. And speaking of keyboards, they sent one of these over to me to check out. So, let's get into it. So the keyboard in question is the F3261. The 2 here almost looks like a Z, but I'm told it's a 2. And it's actually got a prefix of Win, so AULA Win F3261. As you can see, this is once again one of those small form factor keyboards. It's a 60% keyboard that is good for people who only need, like, you know, the number keys and not much else. Mainly for gamers and maybe for people who type a lot, and maybe not so much for people who need, like, you know, the function rows and macros and numpad for numbers. But I guess a lot of people like you guys like these kinds of keyboards because it's small, compact, and only has what they need and nothing more. It's quite light at about 413 grams, so yeah, it doesn't really have that premium heft to it. But again, this is meant to be more of an affordable budget keyboard, so I don't really see that as a problem, especially at its price, which I'll get into a bit later. The good thing though is that even though it's a budget offering, you still get your adjustable feet below, which is something I really don't take for granted because I like adjusting the elevation on my keyboards. It just helps with making my typing experience that much more comfortable. So yeah, I can appreciate that. Usually with cheaper keyboards as well, you have a cable that is non-detachable, but I'm happy to say that this does come with a detachable cable. It's a pretty normal cable, so nothing really all that fancy here, but at least it's a USB-C. Because again, sometimes I still see products with micro USB in an attempt to, like, I don't know, skimp on cost and, you know, just that little bit of money. So yeah, this is nice to see. You also get RGB strips on the side of the keyboard, and you can customize this however you like using key combinations, or just, you know, turn them off if that really isn't your jam. The variant that I have is this mix of white and grey. The keycaps are standard ABS, so they do wear out and smoothen out over time, but they are double shot shine through, so your keyboard legends get to light up from the RGB light beneath it. Speaking of keyboard legends, while most of the keycaps look fine, there are some like the number 4 that don't really have an even lighting through the text that obviously doesn't look all that good. But again, budget keyboard, and if you're someone who touch types like I do, you know, when I'm typing, I don't really pay all that much attention to the legends anyway. I'm more here for the typing experience. And speaking of typing experience, where is that? There we go. I've got a bag right here. This white gray model that I have comes with Outemu Blues, and these switches have box-like plungers that help with keeping dust and dirt out of the switch, as well as, you know, give the plunger that little bit of stability and reduce wobble. Typing on it, I gotta say that budget keyboards have really come a long way when I had my first mechanical keyboard. I mean, it was one of those Patriot Viper mechanical keyboards, and from memory, this definitely feels a lot better to type on in comparison, which is probably due to the better switches that it uses. But yeah, I mean, decent typing experiences really don't cost much these days. Yeah, they don't have that kind of solid thockiness that you get with, like, you know, your more premium keyboards. But over on Monkey Type, I'm still getting about 104 words per minute, which honestly isn't too bad. The keyboard still has some nice feedback when typing, but I feel that they do need quite a bit of actuation force, especially compared to some of the switches that I've used in the past, and they seem slightly mushy. I mean, the return doesn't feel that great to me. I think it's got a bit of wobble, but again, I think I'm nitpicking. If you can't accept these switches, however, the good thing is that they are hot swappable, and AULA includes a keycap puller and switch remover in the box. So yeah, I mean, you can always pick your poison if these Outemu Blues don't really float your boat. The thing about this keyboard though, and you might have noticed it already, is that there aren't any additional legends on the keycaps. I think some people may like this as, keeps the keycaps looking clean and whatnot, minimalistic. But, with these 60% keyboards, if you wanted to actually use the keys that have been, chopped off, like the function row and page up and page down, etc., then you're going to have to refer to the manual, okay? Because that's pretty much the only place where you can refer to as to what key combinations does what, and there are plenty of them, like the function and number keys for the function row, or function and control to toggle the number row into the F row, function and question mark out control, that grouping right beside of the arrow keys, or you can toggle them instead of by using function and enter. I mean, the list goes on and on. There are too many for me to even remember, so yeah, keep the manual because it fully details all the key combinations. Oh, and cycling the RGB effects is function and backslash, and they've got plenty of effects for you to choose from. At time of writing, the AULA F3261 costs about 93 ringgit, which works out to be about 21 freedom dollars. And man, have mechanical keyboards really gotten affordable compared to like a couple of years ago. I mean, you know what? I think it's pretty nice to type on. I mean, they don't have the best switches, of course. Those will set you back like a fortune, but at least they're from a known brand. But I think for me, the biggest issue that I have with this keyboard is that it doesn't really come with any free selection on the switch of your choice and the looks of the keyboard. No, they come in a combo, at least here in Malaysia on Shopee. For example, this white grey model that I have here only comes with blue switches, and if you like a different look or you want to get a different kind of switch, then you're going to pretty much have to give up on either like the color combination of your choice or the switch of your choice. I mean, if you're lucky, maybe the color that you like comes with the switch that you prefer, but yeah, I found that to be a bit of an annoyance. Overall though, a good starting point for someone looking to get into get into mechanical keyboards. Honestly, I think there isn't really any good excuse not to own a mechanical keyboard anymore. They're pretty cheap and pretty price competitive with membranes, and I think this is of course no small part thanks to brands like AULA that have really made mechanical keyboards that much more accessible. So yeah, I think it's a good beginner's start. I think it's not fancy, it doesn't have to be, it just has to type well and feel good, and I think it does that pretty well. Then if you'd like to dive deeper into this rabbit hole of custom keyboards, you can, but it only really goes uphill from here, and it's a steep bloody hill, right, in terms of price. I'm really happy that I'm not really a keyboard snob, because man, the time sink and the money sink is real. That's pretty much it for me from this video. Do your usual stuff like leaving your thoughts, like, dislike, share, and yeah, have a good day. My name is Yang, the Tech Rodent, and I will see you guys in the next video.